It is the 13th of May, 2025, and as we've been doing every couple of weeks, we're going to give you a kind of a run-up on what's happening at the Lake Wallace Sensory Trail. Going to be a longer trail today because we're going to do both the old snowmobile trail around the lake and part of Phase 1 and all of Phase 2 to show you how things are progressing. Louise's Dream Bridge is progressing. You all heard about that in one of our clip and chats. We've come today to have a look and see if the decking has been begun or how we're doing with the uprights. Look here, babe. We've been moving rocks. Doesn't that feel like it's been moved?
Mm-hmm.
No, nothing yet.
Okay, well, the workers are out there.
Yeah.
But they're finishing the uprights, it looks like. They look like those two uprights that were missing we looked at yesterday are in.
Are you?
I am on.
Okay, good to know. So we got a couple of worker bees out there, and hopefully in the next couple of days before this weekend's rain starts, we'll see some progress here. I visit the bridge, and now we're going to turn around and start most of what was Phase 1 of the Sensory Trail, and we'll follow that about 3/4 of a mile out to the last observation deck. Then we'll turn around and we'll head down the snowmobile trail. You need to be cautious when you're walking this part of the trail. There's a lot of poison ivy coming up on either side. If you're sensitive to it at all, watch where you put your feet, and particularly don't touch your shoes or your pants when you get home. Get everything in the wash.
Okay, so what is it? Oh, this is a geological history. So there's a bunch of these information things along the trail. Yeah. Oh.
Do you see this beautiful plant? This is autumn olive. It is a terrible thing to have in New England because it's incredibly invasive. It smells wonderful and it's easy to fall victim to its charm, but keep an eye out for it in your yards. This pale green leaf and these yellow flowers, it's very bad for our native plants.
I'm just walking along here, heading to the first observation deck, I guess.
Yes. Keeping an eye out for the bad, evil poison ivy.
Is this evil poison ivy right here?
Evil poison ivy right here. It has this kind of copper look when it first comes up, and then it turns green. But it's the 3 leaves, the shiny 3 leaves. Very bad if you're sensitive. If you're a birder, you already know about this trail because the bird life on Lake Wallace is myriad and lovely. And some of our local photographers spend a lot of time out here to get really startling, dramatic, beautiful pictures.
Well, you come out here to look for the turtles.
I do. I love the turtles. How you find them. In this lake, it's mostly painted turtles. And if you come out onto the observation deck and you just look out across the water, not sure if the camera will pick this up, but you look for points of light along the logs. And if you see them, that's actually the shells of the painted turtles.
I see one little turtle out there.
The boatload over this way to the right, but the camera has to be able to get
No,
close
it's
enough
not
to
really
see it.
seeing
It's
it,
not
is it?
picking it up?
No.
We're sorry. We hope you come out yourselves and see it.
But we are looking at the damage that some vandal, I guess.
Yes, for reasons unknown to us, some people have seen fit to come out here and kick out these safety screens. Very bad idea, particularly if you're bringing children out here. And just kind of a mean thing to do. Makes you feel bad about our town. So this was a beautiful jack in the pulpit, and there are more of them along the trail, we know, from the last couple of years, so we hope we can show you more. If you look really closely, you can see the ferns are coming up. They have a tendency to come up and uncurl. It's a beautiful thing to look for every year, and if you know your way around, I guess some people know how to find fiddlehead ferns, which are edible. We don't know much. We just know what we like. Milkweed is a native plant, a huge friend to pollinators, and a great deal of it grows along the sides of the trail here, so we thought we'd show you some of the little ones who are just coming up. So we're crossing one of the old lintels or step units. This is pieces of granite that were parts of the entryways into the buildings at the old state school. They've been, what do you call it, reduced, reused, recycled. They are being recycled as notice points along the trail. When you see one of these, you'll know something is coming up.
And over here, I think, is the bump out for the ferry bench.
This bench will be the stone bench, which we believe Karan is making one of the first benches that we're going to see along the trail here. If you have an interest in donating something, you might want to talk to Mr. Albertson, our town planner, and see what the process is for donating a bench along the Lake Wallace Sensory Trail. Pardon me.
Now we're coming up on the entrance that most people use when they park here next to the skateboard park.
Probably the most widely known entrance, although there are a number of them.
Opposite the casual school. And there's the skateboard park. All right, now we're going to go past. Peg and I have adopted 10 posts here along the trail. The posts are
20
numbered.
posts.
20?
Every other one is numbered.
Okay, so they have little numbers on them. Oh, let me see here. Let me see a number for you.
Well, there's 90.
Yeah. So we own 90 to 80.
This looks like 89. I think this is so cute. Somebody has put little smiley faces.
Oh, wow.
Where the non-numbered posts are, there's a little happy face. We like that.
Juga? Is that a juga, the purple flower?
Bugleweed, yes,
Bugleweed?
I think so.
Oh, I see. There's a smiley face. This is post 88 with a smiley face.
Yeah.
All right. So we're moving into the...
I'm looking for our one trillium, but I'm not seeing
it
it.
should be coming up here shortly, unless we passed it already.
Well, it's probably gone by.
I'm sure it has. It
I
was
know
in this
ours
area. It
has.
was in this area.
The ones in our yard. There's blue-eyed grass here.
That's blue-eyed grass, he said.
Well, look at the pretty flowers.
And that's what it's
And
called,
here and
huh?
there we have some baby jacks. They don't have actual jacks, but we're seeing the leaves, so we know that in a few years they'll be big enough to make their own little pulpits.
Huh.
Skunk cabbage.
And cabbage everywhere.
Skunk cabbage everywhere.
Here's a jack. Right here.
There you go. That's a nice light green one. We had a dark one and a light one so far.
Yeah.
And here's our trillium, although the flowers I think have gone.
Oh, okay. So that's the trillium, the leaves
We've
there.
only found one trillium along the trail here, but if you look, you can see the three-part
Oh.
leaf.
Oh, there's what's left of the flower.
And the flower has gone by. The flowers are dark red, very deep red, like burgundy.
There's one further down, too.
Oh yeah, there are little flowers everywhere.
Oh, okay.
So this one is multiplying a bit.
Go
So
ahead.
between the DPW and the rec department, most of this does get mowed back periodically through the season. Our little adopted area we mow, and we have hedge trimmers and lops, and we work away at trying to keep this from all the overgrowth from crawling out into the trail, which will make it much less enjoyable. There's a whole colony of jack-in-the-pulpits right here. I see one jack right here on the right-hand side, but if you look, there's a bunch of little three-part leaves, and those will all eventually make flowers of their own.
All right. Well, we're crossing the little boardwalk, I guess, bridge, and where the trail splits off towards the senior center and fire police department.
Police department. We're not there yet, but we're coming up on it. You'll see the Y straight ahead. Cottonwoods, honey. That's what all this is on the ground. So pretty soon.
So
all
off to the left is to the parking lot near the police station and senior center.
You can hear the noise from Route 202.
Yeah.
I'm just chasing jacks.
Yes, you are.
I see this one, but I don't see a jack.
Okay.
So, but that's the plant.
And then to the right here is a continuation of phase 1.
And the trail is littered with cottonwood. It's when you see your gutters on your road all full of little puffy things. They're not all dandelion fluffs. Some of them are cottonwood.
I must admit, I do love the boardwalks.
Boardwalks are fabulous.
Yeah. Well, they change the texture. They kind of look at out over waterways or scenery. So we're just walking along the trail here.
dotted with these little empty signposts, which we think will be a part of that storybook walk, or those storybook walk projects that hopefully are in the planning stages.
What's the restaurant we're coming up on on our left?
Crispies.
Crispies. Yeah, so they have a little pathway here.
Yeah, it's very convenient. They made a nice little pathway from the very beginning, before the trail was even finished.
Yeah.
Here's a handy little thing if you're walking the trail and you want lunch. Just walk up the hill here. Crispies is right at the top of this little side trail. Very clever on somebody's part.
Which is just before the sign for the Lake Wallace Trail.
This trail, this sign is old, and the snowmobilers have used it for years, and they've incorporated it into this trail, which we think is terrific. Behind us is the little pathway out to the final observation point on phase 1 of the Lake Wallace Sensory Trail. And then here to my right, Lou's left, is the trail which will take us all the way around the lake, and we are going to show you that today.
This is like cattail heaven here. And they've kicked out all the little fences here too.
These are gone as well. Were they here? Did they have those?
They had them originally, but I think they were gone last year.
Unhappily, more of the little safety rails have been kicked out here. You can look out over a huge array of cattails, and if you look closely, perched on some of them are the red-winged blackbirds that really seem to like this area. And you can hear that odd sort of atonal chirp. That is a red-winged blackbird.
Yeah, I can see the bridge on the other side of the lake now.
Yeah, that'll be fun. You'll be able to see the bridge when it's all completed.
Yeah.
Can you get any of the...
That's a red-winged blackbird there, and I think I got them.
There and to your left.
Oh, they were flying. Yeah, I got them.
Yeah.
They're not. I'm full zoom, so they're not going to be really noticeable.
Oh, well.
But there they are.
There's one right there, and there was one right there. He's gone, but there is one right over there.
Yeah.
I have some baby maples, and the cattails are starting up here. This is a beautiful, beautiful area. We don't know a lot about the history of it. We think the lake was made for the state school, and so it's largely man-made that blocked off some creeks. But as we go around the lake, you'll see, you might, if you're lucky, you'll get to see the beaver dam. And last year we saw one of those knots of baby snakes all wriggling and jiggling. It was disturbing but interesting. Among the plants and things that we have an interest in along the side of the trail are wild blueberries. You'll never get a chance to pick any of these berries because we think the birds and the squirrels all know they're here. But it is fun to see them. They're all thriving. It's a native plant, so yay, the pollinators will be happy. And we love seeing them.
What? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's the azalea, right?
That is a wild azalea. Another thing that's native to this part of the country and this part of Western Mass is this wild azalea. A lot of you have azalea in your yard, but these plants grow in the wild. They're very pretty, they're very lacy, and once again, ephemeral.
What does ephemeral mean?
It means very short-lived.
Thank you.
Smart aleck. So when you're wandering in your woods or through any woods at this time of year and you wonder what these carpets of green are, this is Canada Mayflower. And they're very, like I said, tiny. Flowers are 3/4 of an inch or so large. There they are, and happy spring. This is the little patch of pink lady slippers that we find from year to year, and always is a surprise to me because I can't exactly remember where they are, but we're opposite the bank, and you can see there are just a few in flower, but there are babies, there are leaves everywhere, so eventually all of those will flower as well. This is a member of the orchid family. You can almost tell if you've seen orchids before. They have the 3 leaves at the back and then the actual orchid itself. But this is a baby, and this is a baby, and here is a baby, which looks like it, and here and here. So this colony is naturalizing. So over the years there'll be more and more and more, we hope. Here's another member of the local native flora. This is actually a viburnum. You see viburnum all along the roadsides, and there are various kinds. This one is just starting to bud, so it will have white flowers in a week or so. Right immediately past the lady slippers, you're going to come very close to Route 202, and part of the trail passes actually along this safety guardrail. So you need to mind your footing and try to ignore the trash. We come periodically and pick it all up. I guess it's an easy place to toss things out the window, but we hope you won't do that, and we hope you will discourage your friends and family from doing that too.
So once we get past the guardrail, we duck back into the woods for a little bit. And what's going to happen is the trail's going to make a sharp right turn and go down probably the steepest hill on this path. So we're here at the hill. This is as bad as it gets on this trail, and that's not saying much. It's a little steep at the beginning, but it shallows right out. It's an easy walk down.
You still need to mind your footing, because in heavy acorn years, this little slope can be treacherous.
True.
We've both skidded on it, if not fallen. So you need to mind your footing and use the little solid rocks to brace your feet.
Yep. Then when we get at the bottom of the hill, here at the bottom of this pitch, we're onto a bridge, also courtesy of the Snowmobile Club. In fact, all the bridges we cross are courtesy of the Snowmobile Club here. And we're on the western side of Lake Wallace now.
In the background, we can hear a woodpecker. Probably a, what are they called, honey?
Downy?
Not the woodpecker, the other ones. You call them sapsuckers.
Yellow sapsucker.
The smaller varieties are sapsuckers, I guess.
Okay.
Not the little redheads or the pileated. There it is. And here's our first bridge.
Considering all the rain we've had, it's pretty dry in here right now.
It's kind of a surprise, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a considerable amount of skunk cabbage here in among the cattails. Some baby oak trees. Whoop. That's wobbly, that stone,
Okay.
so be careful.
Oop, we lost it. We lost it.
Yes, this trail needs, this bridge needs a little love.
Yeah.
So mind your footing. Be very careful where you step. Now we're climbing again. Just a bit. Just enough to keep us on our toes, I guess. We're pretty sure, if you look down, what you see is a lot of fairly small stones covered over with dirt. So we're pretty confident that this was infill for the areas where they blocked little streams to make Lake Wallace. Again, for us, this is amateur and guesswork.
All right. So I can see, the observation deck that they're building there on phase 2 across the way, the lake.
Is that the bridge? Straight
I
ahead?
haven't seen the bridge. Oh, there's the bridge. I'm looking at the observation deck though. And the bridge is off to my right.
Oh, the observation deck is out of my line of sight. I see it's around the corner.
There it is.
See my little ornithology app that I can turn on when there's a lot of bird song and ask, what are we hearing? So apparently we're hearing yellow warblers, swamp sparrows, song sparrows, and again the red-winged blackbird.
So we're going down a little hillock, incline.
And a little down. Watch your feet on the acorns.
Oh, there's some more of that azalea off to your right.
I see it. Look at that,
Yeah.
babe. Look at this.
Yeah,
Take pictures of that. That's
it's really
gorgeous.
happy here.
I smell autumn olive again.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Around here somewhere.
But obviously, it looks like the Snowmobile Club has done some repair work on this bridge.
Yeah, this one's had a couple of pieces replaced.
Oh, there's the beaver dam out there.
We'll get a better view up ahead, right?
We should, or at least a different angle.
Sure. Because the azalea is so much more present and dramatic on this side, although there was plenty on the other side. But this is a lovely area full of beautiful, beautiful flowers. These are the spring flowers that show up on the trail. Are bluets or Quaker maize. We love them very much, and they make little colonies. If you travel around the area, you'll see yards that are just absolutely carpeted in them. But we love the little secret ones in the woods.
So over here to the left is a steep drop down for the snowmobilers as they go off towards Jackson
The
Street.
sign's gone too.
Yeah, but there has been some sort of a pileated woodpecker or somebody, yellow sapsucker.
Well, I think the little musical tone is probably the sapsucker.
No, I'm looking at the oval hole in the tree.
If they're round, they're one thing. If they're oval, they're another.
Correct.
I just don't remember.
If only we
which.
knew.
If only we could tell you.
Yeah. So this is the trail we're going to follow, which will take us back over to Foley Field. We'll cross the dam at the end of Lake Wallace, where we saw the ball of snakes a year or so ago.
Snowmobile Club works really hard. They foster relationships between their club and the landowners, including the town, and they're very careful about signage. They work really hard to make it clear where the snowmobilers need to turn and stop and cross and the like.
So we're coming into the dam now at the head of Lake Wallace. Which will take us right across to Foley Field in Phase 2.
You see the backdrop here?
Yep.
Right opposite the pitcher's mound.
So we're at the dam. We have a little beaver deceiver down here.
No,
And
sorry.
then I'm going to say, if you look out, this is probably one of the prettier views as you look out across Lake Wallace right now. Around here. Usually there's a flock of geese over here in the cove, but not today.
Yeah, we're missing them today, although we did hear them flying over. So
We did, yeah.
the geese are almost always here somewhere. You don't always see them. There are green heron here. I think there are egrets here. There are lots of birds. If you follow any of the town personal websites of the photographers, you can see some absolutely amazing pictures of the wildlife, the bird life that exists on Lake Wallace. There's a whole flock of geese skimming across the water out there. They're so far away, not sure you can see them. So you need to walk this trail yourselves and not count on amateur naturalists like you need to tell you who's here and what's going on.
Oh, there they are. I see them now. Okay, so go ahead.
Lou wants me to give you our step count. We started off, well, we don't really know. We started off somewhere in the 4,000 area, and we're pushing 6,000 now, which is, well, not quite a mile. 2,500 steps is a mile, but we like to keep track because we feel sad if we haven't hit at least 3,000 and smug if we go more than 7.
And so we did just under a mile around Lake Wallace?
Just
On the
under a
snowmobile
mile.
trail.
Yeah, on the snowmobile trail. I think 42 to 58. That's only 1,600. So
And then we had that quarter mile that we added
and then
in.
another quarter mile. So pushing a mile.
All right, not bad. That's an
Short
easy
walk, you can do it.
Yeah.
So you actually have seen us through Phase 2 a whole bunch of times. So we're going to walk it ourselves today. And if there's something new or different, we'll let you know. But we are recommending all of the Lake Wallace Trail as a wonderful family activity, or a mental health activity, or a nature walk, or just a chance to breathe. We're actually at the end of phase 2. We didn't do too much taping of that since you've all seen it multiple times, and we will be back to it when they get back to fully working. But for today, that's the end of our Lake Wallace Trail Explore. You can see behind me the breathtaking view. The fields have been plowed down below. The barn that they're fundraising for is just behind us and over my, it might be buried in trees right now. So, well, we tried. Anyway, they're raising funds for that, so you should be paying attention to how that progresses. And you can get in touch with the New England Small Farms Institute at any time. You can get in touch with our town planner, Mr. Albertson, to see how this trail is progressing and what's next for the Lake Wallace Sensory Trail.